Have you ever been absolutely convinced you wrote the clearest prompt possible, only to get back a completely soulless, hypergeneric, frankly useless response from your AI?
Oh, all the time.
You read the output and just think, did it even understand English?
And that frustration, that huge gap between what you meant and what the AI actually delivered, it usually leads people to one of two places.
Okay.
Either, the AI is just fundamentally flawed, or talking to it is basically a roll of the dice.
Matter of luck.
Exactly.
Right.
But after digging into what top prompt engineers are saying, we've realized that frustration is often, well, it's a reflection of a skill gap.
So it's not the AI being dumb.
It's the user needing a more precise technique.
I think we all start out assuming a prompt is just a fancy Google search, right? Like a keyword query.
Mhm.
And when the response is bad, we blame the tool.
Of course.
But the consensus we found is that if the output is bad, the technique is flawed. We have to treat everything we send the model as a set of instructions that needs to be optimized.
And if it's not a question, then what exactly is a prompt?
That's the million-dollar question.
The fundamental shift in thinking is this. A prompt is not a question. It is a call to action.
A call to action. I like that.
We are, in a sense, programming with words. When you write a prompt, you're compiling a set of instructions designed to constrain this massively powerful prediction engine.
That idea, programming with words, that's so key. If you just remember that an LLM is basically a super, super advanced autocomplete.
That's all it is.
It's just completing patterns based on trillions of words it's seen. That changes your whole approach.
Precisely. If your pattern is vague, the AI just defaults to the statistically most likely completion.
Or an average.
The average. And average in this context equals, generic garbage.
Right.
So to get better results, you're really learning how to hack the probability.
So our mission today is to synthesize the core concepts, the common pitfalls, and some of these advanced techniques to help you, the beginner or intermediate user, get consistently high-quality outputs from tools like ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's start with the foundational blueprint. We found this really robust 5-step framework, and it emphasizes one critical insight. Prompting isn't a one-and-done thing.
No, it's a circle, an iterative process.
So what's the framework?
It's an acronym. TCREI.
TCREI.
T is for task, defining exactly what you want the AI to do.
Okay.
C is for context, providing all those critical details.
Mhm.
R is for references or examples, showing the model what you want.
Showing, not just telling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then E is for evaluate, checking the output. And I is for iterate, refining the prompt based on what didn't quite work.
Okay, let's focus on that first one. T is for task. The immediate high-impact thing you can do is define the persona.
Absolutely. Giving the AI a specific role to play.
Why is that so powerful?
Because when you define a persona, you're narrowing the model's focus. You're giving it expertise. If you just ask it to write an apology email, you get something.
So bland, so corporate.
Right. But the second you assign a role, you're telling the model where, in its massive internal map of knowledge, what's called the latent space, it should focus.
So the latent space is just its internal map of concepts.
Think of it that way, yeah. It's the difference between asking a random person on the street for advice versus consulting a specialist.
Okay, so give me an example.
Instead of a generic apology, you ask, you are a senior site reliability engineer for Cloudflare, writing to customers and engineers after an outage. Write an apology email that is technically accurate and reassuring.
Wow, okay.
By adding that persona, you force the AI to pull from the part of its brain that stores technical terms, crisis communication, that professional high-stakes tone. The output is just instantly better.
So you're not just role-playing for fun, you're functionally restricting its vocabulary and focus. But I remember the sources mentioned a little debate here about the future of persona.
That's right. As the models get more and more advanced, some experts are arguing that persona engineering might actually become counterproductive.
How so?
Well, instead of using a metaphor like you are a teacher preparing a lesson plan, you might get a better result by just being direct.
So you'd say something like, I am an AI researcher constructing an evaluation data set, and I need a list of 50 common fallacies.
That's the core of it. If the model is smart enough to understand the task directly, adding a tangential persona might just dilute your instruction.
Okay, so that's a great piece of framing. If the task sets the tone, the next step is feeding that expert the right data. That brings us to C in TCREI.
Context. And the sources are completely unanimous on this one. Context is king.
King.
It's maybe the single most important technique because LLMs, they just hate vacuums. Any detail you leave out, the model will try to fill it in.
And that's when you get hallucinations.
That's exactly when you get hallucinations. It makes up a fact just to complete the pattern it sees.
It's that eagerness to please problem. It would rather lie confidently than just admit it doesn't know.
So the rule has to be absolute.
Yeah.
Never assume the model knows something you didn't explicitly tell it. Always provide all the necessary context.
Let's make that practical. A gift suggestion, for example.
Perfect example. If you just asked for a gift under $30, you get a coffee mug.
Generic.
Totally. But if you add context, the person is 29, loves anime, specifically Solo Leveling. They own the first 3 manga volumes. Favorite color is teal. And they live in a small apartment.
Okay, that's a lot of context.
It is. But then you get an output that suggests a specific teal-colored framed art print of the Solo Leveling protagonist that's on Etsy for $28.
That's the jump from useless to actually actionable.
That's it.
So that brings up an interesting tension, though. How do we balance context is king with, the token window? If I dump 1,000 pages of background, won't I just dilute the signal?
That's a real tension. And the key is relevant, structured context. You don't dump the 1,000 pages.
Right.
You summarize the key facts. You provide specific quoted passages that are highly relevant, bulleted lists, key facts.
Yeah.
That's always better than huge blocks of text.
Okay, that makes sense. Moving on, the next concept is about standardizing the output. We're talking about defining output requirements.
This is a superpower. It turns a factual response into a usable, polished asset.
You have to tell the LLM exactly how you want the final result to look.
Exactly. We recommend using like a clear bulleted list for your requirements. For that apology email, you'd specify output requirements. Section 1 must be a bulleted timeline. Tone must be professional and radically transparent. Keep it under 200 words and no corporate buzzwords.
No synergy.
Please, no synergy.
And this applies to images too, right? With Midjourney or DALL-E, I have to specify the aspect ratio, the style.
Cinematic lighting, 8K resolution, oil painting, digital art. Yeah, you're specifying the input and output types.
Which leads us right into references. This is the few-shot prompting technique.
Yes. If context is describing the background, few-shot prompting is showing the model the exact shape of the output you want.
So you provide a few examples of past successful responses that the AI should use as a template.
Exactly. For high reliability stuff, this is invaluable. You give the model 3 perfect examples of a technical statement you approved, then ask it to generate a 4th one with new data.
And that just constrains its variability.
Drastically. It learns the specific cadence, the structure, the tone from your examples.
Okay, so we've covered T, C, and R. Now we're at the crucial part, E and I, evaluation and iteration. You get an output that's 80% perfect, but that last 20% is off. How do you iterate?
You can use a few methods to add constraints or just reframe the problem. The first one is for boring results, analogous tasks.
So if the task is yielding a lifeless result, change the context of the ask.
Exactly. If write a marketing plan gives you a bland bulleted list, switch it up.
To it.
Ask it. Write a compelling origin story about how this product changes our customer's life for a 60-second Instagram reel. You've shifted from a corporate structure to a narrative one. You'll get a much livelier result.
That's a great way to beat the boredom. The second method.
Introduce boundaries or constraints. Sometimes we just overwhelm the AI. If you ask for a playlist and get 100 random songs, you need to constrain it.
Specific tempo, region, emotional theme.
Only 1980s Japanese city pop about feeling melancholy. You narrow the solution space. And third, if your prompt was just too complex, simplify. Break it down into 3 or 4 short, clear sentences.
Let's circle back to the hallucination problem. We know the AI is eager to please, it'll lie confidently. Is there really one definitive fix?
Yes, and it's counterintuitive, but it's highly effective. You have to give the AI explicit permission to fail.
Permission to fail.
You instruct it. If the answer is not in the context I provided, you must reply only with the phrase, "I do not know."
Why does that work so well? It sounds like you're telling it to give up.
Think about it like a high-stakes meeting. If your corporate culture punishes people for admitting they don't know something, they will guess. And that can lead to disaster.
Okay, I see.
By explicitly giving the AI an out, you remove the internal pressure to complete the pattern with a guess. It is the #1 fix for high reliability scenarios.
That is incredibly actionable advice. Another pitfall is assuming the model acts like a human who asks clarifying questions if you're being vague.
Yeah, they still struggle with that. The fix is something called meta-prompting. You turn the model into your own critic.
So I give it my prompt. and then ask it to analyze itself.
Exactly. You feed it your instruction set, then add a meta instruction. I don't want you to follow these instructions yet. I want you to read them and tell me, in a bulleted list, all the ways they are unclear or ambiguous.
Wow.
You can even ask it to generate an edited version of your previous instructions that would have prevented its own mistake. You're using the AI to train you to write better prompts.
Okay, we've covered the whole TCREI framework. Let's shift into the advanced stuff, the techniques that let us fly a little closer to the sun. Let's start with chain of thought, or COT.
COT is basically asking the AI to show its work. You tell it to explain its reasoning step by step before giving the final answer.
And the benefit there is?
It forces the model to structure its own logic, which really increases accuracy, especially on things like math or complex reasoning. And it improves trust because you can actually see its logic.
And an evolution of that is tree of thought, or TOT.
Right. This is what you use when you need diverse possibilities, not just one linear solution.
So TOT explores multiple reasoning paths at the same time.
Yeah, it lets the AI generate multiple approaches and even self-correct. Imagine several competing ideas.
How would I even prompt for that?
You could say, imagine 3 design experts are collaborating. Designer A wants a minimalist aesthetic. Designer B wants maximalist complexity. Designer C focuses on sustainability. All designers will write down the first step of their thinking, share it, critique the others, and only then move to the next step.
You're simulating a peer review inside the model.
And that forces it to explore conflicting ideas and self-corrections.
Yeah.
Powerful stuff.
That is genuinely next level. Then we have prompt chaining.
This is where you guide the AI through multi-stage process, adding complexity one step at a time.
Like for analyzing a
A
document.
legal contract, yeah. Step 1, extract all clauses about intellectual property. Step 2, take that output and chain it. Summarize the risks in these clauses for a non-lawyer. Step 3, chain that summary, generate 3 mitigation strategies.
You're building a complex result through a series of simpler steps.
You got it.
And finally, let's talk about agents. These are like specialized expert partners.
Yeah, agents are complex personas built for specific, repeatable tasks. You've got Agent Sim for role-playing, like an HR interview simulator, and Agent X for expert feedback, like a consultant.
And there's a specific blueprint to make sure these agents are actually useful.
Yes, you need a detailed persona, ample context. Specify the type of conversation, Socratic questioning, rapid-fire Q&A, and crucially, you need a stop phrase,
A stop phrase.
like no pain, no gain, or exit simulation, so it doesn't go on forever. And finally, you specify the feedback format. You want a critique graded on a 1 to 10 scale. That blueprint ensures utility.
We have covered so much ground here, from the basic TCREI structure to tree of thought. But the experts we looked at all kept coming back to one single meta skill that stands above everything else.
And that skill is clarity of thought.
Clarity of thought.
At the end of the day, all these techniques, persona, context, COT, they're just frameworks that force you, the user, to think more clearly about what you want to do.
So if my thinking is messy, my prompt will be garbage.
Garbage in, garbage out. The AI can only be as clear as the instructions it gets. It forces this incredible intellectual discipline on you.
So the advice is, think first, prompt second.
Step back, open a notebook, and write down exactly what the final output should look like, who it's for, and the criteria for success. It's like the rigor taught in philosophy. Take complex ideas and phrase them so clearly that an educated layperson, the model, can understand without any prior context.
So what does this mean for the future? As models get smarter, will we still need to prompt like this in a couple of years?
The need for clear instruction will always be there, but the dynamic is changing. It's becoming less hierarchical and more collaborative.
From giving directions to attempt to collaborating with an expert designer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The models will get so good that they start to interview you. They'll figure out your true goal. They'll surface edge cases.
So they'll ask things like, I noticed you didn't specify a budget. Should I assume X?
Precisely. And that shifts the core skill from explicit instruction to introspection to making yourself clear and legible to the model.
This has been a really powerful deep dive. To recap the actionable lessons, always start with clarity. Use that TCREI framework, especially persona and context.
And remember the #1 fix for hallucinations. Give the model permission to fail. Tell it to say, I do not know.
And use the advanced techniques like chain of thought and tree of thought for those really complex, high-stakes tasks.
And an immediate takeaway for everyone listening, start building a prompt library. Save your successful, highly refined prompts. They are valuable assets you can reuse and build on later.
Our final provocative thought for you is this. If the most valuable skill for prompting is clarity of thought, then mastering AI isn't really about mastering a piece of software. It's about forcing yourself to master how you think. By embracing this rigor, you're using the AI not as a crutch, but as a tool that actively improves your own intellectual discipline. Now go experiment. You'll be surprised at the gold you create.